Greetings, Uncle Travelling Matt here, and today is, I think it's the 14th day. It's the penultimate day of my trip around Jordan and Israel / Palestine, and I am in Bethlehem in Manger Square. I hadn't really intended to come to Bethlehem, but as you know, that's where my accommodation is, so that's why I'm here. And the reason I'm here is because it's a Sunday. I was invited to a traditional Sunday lunch with my host, which is fantastic, at 1 o'clock. And so I thought, well, it's Sunday, I am in the town of Jesus' birth, I should go to church. And so I am going to go to the Mass in the Church of the Nativity, which is built on the site of Jesus' birth. So there we are. I have been here twice before. So I came in 2009 because my son, we waited a long time for a child, and we were trying for years and it didn't happen. And so when he was born, I said that if he was born, I would make a pilgrimage, and he was born on Christmas Day, so there was only one place I could make that pilgrimage to, and that was of course to Bethlehem, for the obvious reason. But I also came before in 1998, and that was a bit of a story. So I'd been in the kibbutz in 1997, and I'd made friends with lots of people, including a Bulgarian girl. And what happened is I went back a year later to see my friends, and she'd been married to a Bulgarian boy, and they got divorced in the meantime, and she was staying with her friend Katya in Holon on the settee. And so what we did is I said, well, I'm going to go to Bethlehem. She said, can I come with you? And we went to Jerusalem together, and it was a really good Christmas story. It was Christmas, by the way, I should mention that before, and because there was no room at the inn. Everywhere we tried, they were full, and I'm like, oh, we need somewhere to stay. And then they said, oh, you married? And she said, yes, I'm married. And she says, here's my wedding ring. I just didn't change my name. And so they let us stay in accommodation for married people because actually she hadn't lied. She just wasn't married to me, and she didn't change her name. So anyway, we came to Bethlehem for Christmas, and there was a big, I don't know whether it was here or there, but there was a big stage, and Yasser Arafat's wife was there, and Yasser Arafat himself was present. I think he was in the church. I can't remember if I actually saw Yasser Arafat, but because about a year or so later, Yasser Arafat was holed up in this church, and the Israeli army surrounded it. So anyway, yeah, that's my little Bethlehem history. I'm going to go to Mass now. Let's go. Little point. This is Casanova, the Franciscan house for pilgrims, and yesterday Prince Charles was here, and my whole trip seems to have been one of narrowly missing British dignitaries, because when I was in Jordan, the day or so before I came to Amman, the Archbishop of Canterbury was there. So I think I missed Charlie, but I've seen him before, so it doesn't matter, and it's a far greater king to see. Not that Charles is a king yet, but you know what I mean. So this is the Church of St. Francis, which is actually the Catholic bit of the Church of the Nativity. The original bit is next door that way. I'm going to go there in a bit after the Mass. And St. Francis of Assisi, who is one of my favourite saints, I went to his shrine last summer. He actually made the pilgrimage to Jerusalem 800 years ago last year. So I only just missed Charles, but I've really missed Francis. By almost a millennium. There we are. the Mass is over, go in peace. It's quite interesting. This is a Franciscan church, and so look at the window. You have the nativity scene with St. Francis of Assisi looking on. I'm now in the Orthodox Church of the Nativity, which is the one next door. This is the one where the grotto is underneath the altar there. And this is much, much older. It reminds me very much of the churches I went to visit in Ravenna, partly because of the layout. It's probably of a similar antiquity, and partly because these amazing mosaics. So there we have. There's Joseph. I think Mary and Joseph were there. And then we have the apostles. Absolutely glorious mosaics there. And then these, I think, are the patriarchies. So that's Gardiki. I'm not quite sure where Gardiki was. Or Sardiki? Yeah. No, I think it could be Sardiki. This is Antioch there. And then, I don't know what this is, but it's absolutely brilliant on the pillar with some Arabic writing. The Church of the Nativity. Favourite bit about the Church of the Nativity is the main door in. It's actually tiny. You have to bend down to get through it. It's called the Door of Nativity, the Door of Humility. It was, of course, much bigger at one time, and then even bigger than that. And apparently, it got bricked up to stop people riding their horses into church. Think of the Ottomans. So there we are, the Door of Humility. You have to bow down to pass through it. So I'm in a tiny cave under Bethlehem, and this is actually part of a Coptic monastery. Now the Copts are the ancient Christian sect that predominates in Egypt, Ethiopia and Eritrea. So I've been to Coptic churches in Eritrea. They're all quite modern, although the church itself is very, very ancient. And it is said that the Holy Family stopped here in Bethlehem for some time now. How true that is, I don't know. Just up the road is the Milk Grotto, which I visited before when I came to Bethlehem in 2009. That's a very powerful place as well. And of course, there is the cave where Jesus was born nearby. But it's a beautiful little place. And I'm guessing they stopped before going to Egypt, and that story is a very big story in the Coptic Church because obviously they are the Church of Egypt. So there we are. There's the story of fleeing to Egypt. There's Our Lady with Christ and Joseph, and as you can see, the Nile, and then being called to Egypt, and there are the pyramids. Amen. So here I am, finally in Jerusalem, a hell of a lot later than I thought. One, because I just missed a bus, and then the second because there's been an horrendous traffic jam. Look at that down there. Been stuck in that for ages. So I'm now entering the old city on the western side. That's St. David's Citadel, but I'm actually going to go straight through it and make my way to the Mount of Olives, because that's somewhere, although I've been up it before, I've not looked in the churches on there before. So I'm going to go there, but if I see anything interesting on the way, I'll stop and have a look. I'm stopping off on the way at the Syrian Orthodox Church, Old St. Mark's. Now, the Syrian Orthodox Church is one of the oldest churches in the world. It's not very big, only about 4 million members. And I actually went to one of their churches in Turkey, and they prayed in Aramaic, which is the language that Christ used. So we'll look inside. So I've worked my way through the old city and then the Valley of Kidron, all those tombs over there. That's, if you're Jewish, that's where you want to be buried. First entry to heaven, I believe. And then I'm going to go up the Mount of Olives, but I hope to see this church, which is the Tomb of Mary, first. So I made it to the top of the Mount of Olives. Unfortunately, the Mosque of the Ascension was closed, but to be fair, I've been to a couple of remarkable churches. The one of the Tomb of the Virgin Mary and the St. Mark Syriac Orthodox one, which apparently is in the house of St. Mark. And it says it's the oldest Christian church in the world. How true that claim is, I don't know. Anyway, the other reason one comes up the Mount of Olives is for the amazing view. I've been to Jerusalem about 4 or 5 times now. I could keep coming back. It is one of the world's most incredible cities and one of the most beautiful. And there are few views on earth that match this. There is something special about its streets. And I always feel honoured every time I come. So, Yerushalayim, the city of peace. Keep travelling.